So here's a bulletproof way to resist temptation. Nehemiah in the Old Testament was assigned by the Lord. He had received a prompting that he should go and rebuild the walls and temple of Jerusalem. And he exercised faith on that prompting. And he went and asked the king, because he was in captivity at the time, he asked the king for permission to go and do it. And surprisingly, the king granted that request. So he was able to go back and begin building up the walls of the city and of the temple in Jerusalem. And what we can learn from this is there were three very bad people, these conspirators who wanted Nehemiah dead. They wanted to stop and frustrate the work of rebuilding the walls of the city of Jerusalem and the temple at all costs. Sound familiar? You bet. Now, it's very interesting in this exchange because they constantly send him messages and they say, come down, just come and visit with us. We'll help you out, bro. We're your buddies, right? And there are a lot of similarities between this exchange and the exchange between Amalickiah and Lehi in the Book of Mormon. So Lehi was a Lamanite who defected from the forces of the king of the Lamanites once Amalickiah had come over and was stirring up the Lamanites to go to war against the Nephites. Lehi did not want to go to war. He was a pacifist in some sense, but more so he just didn't want to become cannon fodder or sword fodder, arrow fodder for the king of the Lamanites under this ruthless, treacherous dude, Amalickiah. And what Amalickiah does then is he's on an errand from the king. He sends an embassy up the mountain where Lehi is situated with his army. And 3 times he sends a message and says, come on down and chat with me. I want to parley. And 3 times Lehi says no. And on the 4th time, Amalickiah comes up nearly to the camp without weapons and says, hey, come talk to me and I'll cut you a deal. And this time Lehi caves. Even though he and his people were fixed in their minds with a determined resolution that they would not go to war against the Nephites, he caved when the pressure came too close. And it was too easy and too convenient, and when he was tempted with power by Amalickiah, and that's why he fell. He was poisoned. Amalickiah murdered him, which Lehi should have seen coming, by the way, because Amalickiah was betraying the king of the Lamanites, so why would you trust a guy who's doing that already not to betray you? But going back to Nehemiah and how he resisted this, listen. Sanballat and Tobiah and these dudes who were very treacherous said, come on down, and they did the exact same thing. They sent 3 times messages, and every single time, Nehemiah responded with this message. He said, I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down to you. See, there's the difference. You can be fixed in your mind with a determined resolution, just like the Lamanites under Lehi were, not to fall into sin or temptation again. But you will not succeed permanently at resisting the adversary's temptations and attacks until you become like Nehemiah, who was doing a great work for the Lord and would not come down from it. He said, why should the work cease while I leave it and come down to you? He knew. He could excuse it every single time. He knew and could tell them to their faces it would be a waste of time to stop building up the walls of the city and to stop building up the temple to go and chat with them, however harmless that might seem. And so that's how you do it. If you have a calling, gain the spirit of it. Everyone has a calling from the Lord. Everyone is called to something great. And as we pursue that with all our heart, might, mind, and strength, we will be protected from the influence of the adversary, and his temptations will become unappealing.